Good morning, and welcome back to the vlog. I'm breastfeeding, so I feel like I have to be constantly drinking water. 16 days postpartum. I'm sorry if I'm talking really low. Also, where's my microphone? My mic's not on this camera. Anyway, I am 16 days postpartum today, 2 weeks, 2 days, and I'm solo parenting today. Mario's back at work. He's not back at work permanently. But he goes into work 1 day a week, so we went in 1 day last week, 1 day this week, 1 day next week, but I got this. Honestly, every day gets a little bit better and easier in terms of my recovery, so if I did it last week, I could definitely do it this week. Baby's sleeping. He's usually pretty good, knock on wood, about taking 3-hour naps with like a 1 to 2 hour wake window all day and all night. Sometimes he'll take a 2-hour nap. Sometimes he'll take a 1 hour nap. Usually he's pretty good for at least 1 hour though. He's already been down for an hour and a half. We'll see how he does. In the meantime, I took a shower and got ready. Hello. And I cleaned up a little bit in the nursery. It was getting a little crazy in here. After I fold the laundry, I'm going to start some of my laundry. I haven't done my laundry in a while. And then have something to eat. Breastfeeding makes me insanely thirsty and insanely hungry, like 24/7. Okay, if you're wondering how the cats have been doing around the baby, Tuna is terrified. Absolutely terrified. He gets a little bit closer every day, but he really wants nothing to do with him. Beethoven is jealous, seething with jealousy, but the result is the same. He really just wants nothing to do with him. He loves when I'm not in the room with him. If I'm in the room with the baby, Beethoven wants nothing to do with me. He's overly affectionate to Mario. He just exhibits all the signs of jealousy that we dealt with when we got Tuna. The good news is that neither of them want literally anything to do with the baby. When the baby is sleeping at night or during the day and we're not in the room, we still keep the cats out, and they have given us no grief whatsoever about that. So they've been cool with not sleeping in the room at night. Honestly, they dislike the baby for different reasons, so they don't really want to be in the room with the baby. But if we're in there and the baby's in there and the baby's sleeping, sometimes we just hang out in there during his nap and we read books or whatever, then they'll be in there. They want to be around us. Neither of them have taken to August quite yet. Okay, I actually knocked a lot of things off my to-do list in this little nap window that we got this morning. I showered and got ready. I picked up the nursery. I folded his laundry. I started my laundry and I'm about to eat breakfast. That's extremely productive for me, especially considering this is like the first or this is like the second day I can even sit down without some issues in the vagina area. I am having one of my pre-made breakfast burritos, which if you guys watched the meal prep vlog were falling apart when I put them together. They fell apart, but you know, food is food. He could theoretically sleep for another hour, but he's gotten up and fussed a couple of times in the last 20 minutes, so I don't think we're gonna get the full extra hour. So this will be the last thing I plan on doing until he wakes up. Okay, you can probably hear my laundry going on in the background, but whatever, I gotta get my laundry done. Also, you might be able to hear the baby monitor because of the white noise, but I gotta look at my baby. Alright, wake window done. He's up for an hour. He's been down for like 30 minutes, but I like to sit in there for like the first 20 minutes of his nap, make sure he doesn't get himself back up like right away. He doesn't usually, but I just like to do it anyway just to be safe. Also, the deeper of sleep he's in when I leave, the better. So yeah, so I thought I'd take a second to talk to you guys. I have some stuff I want to do in this nap window. Hopefully it's 3 hours. Let's see, what did we just do? Alright, we woke up, he fed for like 15 minutes, and then I had him sitting upright, and we burped for like the next 15 minutes, and then I changed his diaper. We went into the nursery and I put him in his little bouncer and we looked at some black and white contrast cards. And then we got tired of that. I tried to do some tummy time, but it was towards the end of his wake window. That was like 20 minutes in the bouncer and he was showing signs of getting tired. So I put the sound machine back on, I swaddled him up, I gave him a pacifier, and then I rocked him for like 10 minutes. He was starting to get kind of heavy eyes, so I just put him in the bassinet, and I sang to him a couple of songs, and he was out. Pretty normal wake window. We've been pretty lucky with him with sleep, knock on all the wood. But in the last couple of days or so, we started realizing, or we started having some difficulties getting him to go back to sleep, and he was crying a lot more than usual, but he wasn't hungry, and he wasn't dirty, and he'd been burped, and he'd been up for a while, so we weren't sure. And then I checked out a bunch of books on baby sleep, and I've been reading them like voraciously, and we decided that we've been keeping him up for too long. He's not the best at showing tired cues until he's overtired. So we've just kind of been capping it at like around an hour, and then for the last one before like actual like bedtime, we let him stay up if he wants to, if he can, without being too fussy, for like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Problem was that he was getting overtired and then he wasn't going down. So now we've sort of capped that, and he's actually really good because sometimes put him down in the crib, or the bassinet rather. He's sleeping in the bassinet next to our bed, and he can be like totally awake, but we're at about the hour point, and we've done all the like soothing things. You know, I've swaddled him, we've got his pacifier, I've rocked him, the sound machine's on, and he'll pretty much usually put himself to sleep. Sometimes it requires a song or two. But yeah, he's been pretty good. And like I said, we usually get 1 to 3 hour naps out of him during the day. And he's pretty good about giving us at least 2 3-hour naps overnight. So sleep-wise, we've been really good. We haven't taken shifts or anything. It's kind of hard to take shifts because I am exclusively breastfeeding. But like, let's say, like last night, he went down for like bedtime after our longest wake window at 9 o'clock. Then he was up at midnight. But there's usually the first wake up in the night is really short. So I usually just like feed him, hold him, burp him, and then put him back down. So he was back down in sleep at like 12:30. He slept from 12:30 to 3:30. And then at 3:30 he got up and he was up until 5. But then he slept from 5 to 8. So I didn't go to bed until like 10:30. I slept from 10:30 to midnight, and then 12:30 to 3:30, and then 5 to 8. So I'm getting like 8+ hours of sleep a night, and Mario is too. It's just slightly disjointed. And Mario usually sleeps through that shorter wake window at night because I really don't need him for anything. When he is here, we split duties, and he does all diaper changes. I only do diaper changes when Mario's not around. And he usually likes to burp him too. So I'll just do like the feeding, and then we'll, both do some kind of activity, right? Like we just did an activity. I just had him in his bouncer looking at contrast cards, but sometimes we do tummy time, or I'll read him a book, or we'll go outside. Only for like 20 or so minutes. He's just 2 weeks old. There's only so much he can handle. But during the day, I like to keep the activity bright and in the light. So going into the nursery where the windows are always open and it's much brighter in there, whether that's just to read books, look at toys, be on the tummy time mat, anything, or going outside, going on a walk, or just sitting in our front yard. And then at night, we keep everything really, really dark. I have like a Hatch sound machine light thing that I just put on the red light at night so that it stays really, really dark in the room. We don't do an activity, I just hold him. And I think he's been pretty good. I think he flips his days and nights pretty quickly. Anyway, that's sleep. Sleep has probably been the hardest thing for us. Everything else has been pretty okay. Like I said, I'm exclusively breastfeeding. That's what I wanted to do, knowing that it was probably going to be very difficult. But it actually hasn't been that difficult. We're still learning each other. I still get milk on him all the time. I'm not exactly sure how to prevent getting milk on him like crazy. I try to put like a burp cloth in between him and my boob, but my boobs are like, literally, if he like pulls back, then they're like water guns. Whichever one he's sucking on, like just shoots at him until he puts his mouth back on. He likes to drink in like little chunks, and then he'll drink in like a 5-minute chunk, and he'll pull back, and he'll need he's like panting like crazy. It's a lot of work for them to breastfeed. and then, you know, he'll want to come back, but like we're still learning that like cadence. But honestly, like we've been breastfeeding since the day he was born, and it's been really great. The only time that was difficult was when my milk came in, like 3 days after I gave birth. I think 3 or 4 days. I had like a really, really healthy colostrum supply, so he latched like within minutes of being born. And we had a couple lactation consultants at the hospital come by and like give us some advice, and all of them were like really like, oh, you have a ton of colostrum. So I think like that really helped bridge the gap in the time between birth and when my milk came in. And when my milk came in, that was probably the hardest part. It came in so intensely. So you've been breastfeeding and so much that I was like immediately engorged, and it was really painful. And I was like, this cannot be how it's supposed to be. I was engorged for a couple of days, just like leaking everywhere, just like waking up in like literal puddles of milk because my boobs were like leaking so much. And I started like panicking, like what is going on? And then after like 2 or 3 days of that, after he did a feeding, I like hand expressed into a little collector, and I got like a full bag of milk. So we put that in the freezer, and my boobs felt so much better after that. And then after I did that, things have just like evened out. My boobs felt fine, no pain. He latches like a pro, no nipple pain. I have all of this nipple pain stuff that I haven't had to use yet. You know, it's only been 2 weeks. But yeah, things have been really great in that department. In terms of like productivity, first of all, I have like no expectations for myself. So even if I just like get up and brush my teeth for the day, it's a win. Today has become a lot more productive than usual, probably just because I'm bored. I'm by myself. Mario's not here. If Mario were here, we'd probably be down here watching TV right now. Instead, I'm probably going to go cook after this, prep some more food for myself. But yeah, I would say like the first week and a half, I didn't do shit. Mario did everything. He was doing laundry, he was doing dishes, he was doing trash, he was doing a lot of baby stuff. I was in a lot of pain. I had just given birth. I'm still, I would say there's like a dull ache down there, but it's like I can go to the bathroom without crying, and like things are definitely a lot better. I'm not like bleeding. I'm not passing like golf ball size blood clots anymore. Like it's just so significantly better than it was even just like a week ago. The first week and a half was really rough in terms of like my physical recovery. I just like don't know why, but I really didn't think about it. I think I was so focused on like having the baby that I forgot that I was going to have to recover as well. Let me tell you, there are some products that I just like cannot praise highly enough. First of all, my adult diapers, I used half that Costco size box before I switched over to pads. So glad I had those because I just like didn't have to worry about leaking with all of the bleeding I was doing, and it's a lot of bleeding, like a lot of. I literally had to call my OB and ask her if it was a normal amount of bleeding because I thought I was like hemorrhaging and dying, but I wasn't. That's just what it is. I never leaked on into anything with all of that because I stayed in my diapers for the first week and a half. Tux pads, Dermaplast, numbing spray, those things are great. A Peri bottle is great. You know, I bought my little fancy one, never ended up using it, still just using the one from the hospital. It was fine. And that's the one that I learned to use when I was in the hospital, so I never switched over to my fancy one. But then, yeah, I would say like my top 3 things for recovery from vaginal birth are adult diapers and stool softeners. That first poop was terrifying. And ice pads. They sell these like, they're like pads, but they're ice packs. The most amazing invention that's ever been created. Those 3 things, plus the Dermaplast and the Tux pads and painkillers, got me through the first week and a half. And then I just started slowly weaning off of them, and now I don't take any painkillers. I don't use anything except for the Peri bottle still, just because I'm like afraid to wipe a little bit. I'm still bleeding, so I'm just using pads. But yeah, when I was in the thick of it in that first week, I thought I was gonna, have ruined my vagina for the rest of my life, and I was never gonna feel better. Now that I'm 2.5 almost weeks out, I'm like, oh, I can see a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of like healing. I had a 2nd-degree tear, so you know, painful. I mean, I had enough girls, so I didn't feel shit when it was happening, but it's been a painful recovery. But yeah, I would say, like, also that first week and a half, I did not get out of bed unless it was to, like, get up and go to the bathroom. That's pretty much it. I think on, like, day 9 or 10, I got up and, like, I got up before Mario when August was still sleeping, and I, like, did some light chores. I, like, folded some clothes that Mario had washed, and I, like, unloaded the dishwasher or something. I just, like, wanted to feel productive, and Mario was like, whoa, look at you, big day. And that was, like, all I did that day. I, like, woke up and I did chores for, like, 45 minutes, and then that was it. I probably should have been moving around a little bit more after birth, but I was just in a lot of pain. But yeah, you know, the baby changes so much every day. I get better and better every single day, and we're figuring out the routine every day. We're kind of getting into a routine, which is nice. But also he's a newborn, so every once in a while he's like, fuck this routine that we've established, let's cluster feed for the next 4 hours. I'm trying to think if there's any other postpartum things I wanted to talk about. I feel like it's been good. I think I don't have anything to compare it to, you know? But I feel like I have a pretty good baby. He cries, but usually there's a reason that he's crying. He's hungry, or his diaper's dirty, or he's gassy, or he's overtired. That was the one that we couldn't figure out these last couple of days. Is like, we just thought, oh no, he's starting to cry for no reason, he's starting to get fussy for no reason, and then we realized, like, we were keeping him up longer than we should be. So we just figured out the overtired cry. But yeah, he naps like a pro, he eats like a pro, he poops like a pro. We had his 2-week pediatrician appointment 2 days ago, and he was above his birth weight, so, you know, it's hard, when you're breastfeeding, you don't know, like, how much he's eating. You only can judge by his output, which he has a lot of output, so we were never really worried at all, but it's nice to know that he's gaining weight in the correct trajectory. I had, like, a little bit of the baby blues in the first 2 weeks, but mostly just, like, due to, like, the pain that I was going through. I know I had, like, one really hard night where I was in just, like, a lot of pain, and the pain meds were not covering it, and I cried a lot. And then there was another night that I cried a lot because he was cluster feeding the whole night. And I was like, uh-oh, like, is this life? Is this how life's going to be? But it was just really like a night and a half that he did that. And I think he was just going through a growth spurt. You know, that's what I've kind of learned now, is that when he does that, he's going through a growth spurt. And I wanted to breastfeed, right? So it's like, I have to support him as his little body grows. And so now that doesn't frustrate me as much. But those 2 nights were really difficult. Those were in the first week. But other than that, I haven't really yet dealt with any, like, strong hormonal dumps, strong baby blues or PPD or PPA, which I'm really grateful for so far. I know that I'm still early in my postpartum journey, but I'm feeling really on top of my mental health and myself. Mario being around and helping has been so amazing, and it's kind of just been like, especially these last couple of days where I feel like we're finally figuring things out and, like, getting ourselves into a good flow, like, just like a little bubble of joy. I know Mario was really sad to have to leave for work this morning, and it's important that he goes and gets this done. Tomorrow my parents are coming up. I think they're taking the train, and they're coming up, and that'll be his first, like, full-time visitors. We had a strong boundary of no visitors in the first 2 weeks. I just wanted to really have that time for myself to heal and for the baby to, you know, gain a little weight, and for me to feel more secure in his routine. Yeah, I'm really glad that we did that. But now the 2 weeks are up, so people can come to visit. I have to follow a lot of rules. I got a lot of rules, but my parents will just be here for one afternoon, and then Mario's parents are coming for a weekend in like 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then we'll have our friends probably come over next week and meet him. They've come over and, like, drop things off for us, but we haven't really let anybody, like, get near him or hold him, because, like I said, we were holding that boundary pretty strongly, right, buddy? And that's kind of been the gist of my postpartum experience. Mostly, it's been really happy. When people ask me about it, I just say that we're in a little bliss bubble, and that is true. Especially now that I'm feeling like 90% recovered, and feel like I get my baby, and he gets cuter and cuter every day. I know I'm never going to show him, but I'll just tell you guys, he has a full head of hair, which we were so shocked about, and he has the biggest blue eyes, and he's so tan, which is so funny, because, like, look at me. I'm not tan. Mario's not really that tan, but both of our parents are really tan, so it's like great. It just like skipped our generation, and our baby is like so tan. He's so cute. He looks just like Mario, and yeah, it's just been really good. I think now I'm going to go prep some overnight oats if I can, if I have the stuff. Our friends dropped off some gumbo for us the other day. They made us gumbo and rice, and I know Mario had some for dinner last night, but I think we still have at least one portion left. And I'm going to stop talking because he's waking up, and I'm pretty sure it's because he can hear me. So, bye! Turns out he wasn't just fussing. He woke up. So I took an hour nap. Then we hung out. He did a big long feed. I changed him, and we just hung out for like an hour. And he went back down about an hour and a half ago, and I've just been upstairs next to him reading. And then I remembered I wanted to do things today, and then I was vlogging, so I'm back down here now. I don't want to talk too much because I feel like that maybe what woke up last time. But I am going to see if the almond milk in my refrigerator is expired or not, and that will determine whether or not I can make my oatmeal. Not expired. Let's make some oatmeal. Hello? Thursday afternoon is fine. Air conditioning maintenance scheduled for the spring. I have everything except for yogurt, so they won't be as creamy as they usually are, but it'll still be fine. Apparently oats are supposed to be like some of the best things you can eat for milk supply. Not that I have any problems with that. Kind of an oversupply issue, if anything, but it's still good to have them nonetheless. It's 4 o'clock. I think he's like down hopefully for 3 hours, so he won't be awake for like another hour, hour and a half. I'm just gonna go back upstairs. I'm gonna refill my water bottle, go back upstairs, and keep reading my book. Because I think I'm tapped out with productivity for the day. And then on this next week window, I'll call my parents and figure out what their plan is for tomorrow, since they're coming in tomorrow. But yeah, I'm tired, I'm wiped, and I need all my energy for the baby. That's the update. Here I am, how many days later? Like a week and a half later, actually. I forgot to end the vlog or whatever, but
now I'm here.
Now Mario's here, and yeah, and that was a day in my life postpartum. It wasn't really an average day because he was gone that day. He was at work. Most of the days of this maternity leave, Mario has been here, and so like most of the days are a lot less just like me doing everything, because I would say Mario does everything except for feed the baby during the daytime. And then at nighttime I do everything just so that he can get good sleep, so that on days that he does have to work, he has to work. But it's been pretty good. I think like when I filmed this, we were in like a really great routine of like him sleeping for 2 to 3 hours in the bassinet, up for 1 or 2 hours, blah, blah, blah. Since then, we ran into some roadblocks with him getting overtired, us keeping him up for too long on accident. We got humbled a little bit. Lately, we've been letting him sleep during the day with like next to us. And now he does better sleeping on us during the day, which is fine during the day because we're up and we're around. We just want to make sure that he's still really comfortable sleeping in the bassinet at night.
Which he has been.
He has been so far. So far we've been lucky. That is my life postpartum. Bye. See you guys in the next one. Bye.